Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So if you guys are new around here, welcome. My name is Becca. I am a registered dietitian and I make lots of videos here on YouTube about nutrition and wellness and motherhood and non-toxic living, and that last one is what we are going to be talking about in today's video. So I am going to be talking to you guys about something that has been highly requested, and that is sharing how to start a non-toxic lifestyle. If you guys have been following me for a while, about a year and a half ago, I started to make the slow switch of all of my products, switching them out for, conventional stuff for non-toxic options. It has been one of the greatest things I've done for myself and for, our family. And the truth is, there is some real crap in our products, you guys, and it's time to start paying attention if you're not already. So I'm going to walk you through what I did, the resources I used, what was really helpful to me to start to learn what I should be switching out, and it was literally everything. But I'm going to share with you guys. I'm not an expert, but I can tell you what helped me and what I used and what's made it really easy for me to figure out how to go about this whole switch. Okay, so like I said, about a year and a half ago is when this whole process started, and I want you guys to know, because this could be you, I want you to know that when I started to learn a little bit more about the literal crap, chemicals, nasty stuff, things that mess with our bodies that are in our products, my first reaction was to be super defensive. My products are fine. If they were really that bad, why would they be out on the shelves? I mean, there's no way that they're as dangerous as people are making them out to be. If they're allowed to be sold, let's be real. And I was even extra defensive because I was using all the natural stuff, Mrs. Meyer's and Method and all of that stuff that is really green and clean and plant-based and all of that. So I was like, my products are fine. You people are crazy. But to be honest, I was not doing great. All of the products I was using actually are filled with chemicals. So just to kind of paint you guys a picture of what goes on in the US as far as our personal care products. If you look at Europe, they have tons of chemicals that are banned and they're not allowed to be in personal care products. It's 1,200 or 1,300. It's a big number. And then in the US, it's 30 or less. I've seen a few different figures, but less than 30. And that is a humongous disparity. So I mean, there's hundreds of chemicals that Europe recognizes to not be safe and are not allowed to be used in our personal care products and therefore going on our body. And the US is who cares? Throw them in. So the regulation, unfortunately, is not very good. And one of the biggest key scary ingredients to be aware of, it's not even an ingredient, it's just an umbrella term, and that is fragrance. So I'm going to walk you guys through how to identify what products are ones that should be switched out if you do want to make the switch. But I can tell you right now that if you start going through all of your products that you currently have, anything that has fragrance, or it's also called parfum, listed on your products, that is basically a chemical cocktail. Fragrances are lab made. They use all different kinds of chemicals in order to create, a certain smell or a certain fragrance. And so many of these different chemical compounds that they use to create a certain fragrance, so many of them have not been tested for safety. Tons of them have not been tested for safety, and they're still allowed to be used. And then also, in addition, what's scary about fragrance is it's just an umbrella term, and there's thousands of chemicals that a company can use under that umbrella term, but they don't have to disclose actually what they're using. So when you see fragrance, there's no way to know what chemicals were used. So you can't even dig and research and figure out what kind of chemicals and what their safety is that you're using. There's no way to know because they don't have to disclose. And also, fragrance is one of the biggest endocrine disruptors, which means it disrupts your hormones. So many women nowadays have crazy menstrual periods or just all kinds of stuff happening with their reproductive systems. It's harder for so many people to get pregnant nowadays. And I'm not saying that it is 1000% because there's crap in our products, but that certainly plays a role, and it's something to be aware of. My hormones were all over the place, literally horrible my whole life up until this past year, before I got pregnant, I really focused on this, and I think switching out my products made a humongous difference, and my cycle was totally normal, which had never been in my entire life, and like practically pain-free. So that is just something to pay attention to, but that's like my fragrance rant. Let's move on. Okay, so now we all know there is crap in our products, but what is the crap? What are the bad ingredients? Becca, what do I look for? How do I know if something is bad? So there are a few different things that a few different resources that I like to use, and there could be more out there, and if there is, I would love for you guys to share them down below so you can kind of help everybody out. But one of the things that I love to use is the EWG, it's called the Healthy Living app, and then EWG also has like a skin deep database. It's just on their website. So little caveat here, I used to use the Think Dirty app. When I started this whole ditch and switch thing, Think Dirty was like my jam. You could scan a product or search a product and it would give you a rating and tell you how toxic it was on a scale of 1 to 10. Rumor has it that it was bought out by Procter & Gamble, which is a huge company that owns like all of the conventional brands. Like so many of the stuff that you're gonna find in Target, P&G owns. So, and they're all like conventional toxic products. They were rating really high on the app. So rumor has it Procter & Gamble brought it out. I have not been able to find anything on the internet that actually confirms it. However, right around this time that this rumor came out, all of the ratings, pretty much all of them, changed on the app. A lot of the products that were rated really high, like the P&G products, were rated significantly lower, and then also a lot of the P&G products just like disappeared off the app and no longer had a rating. So a little fishy. I personally just don't trust it anymore, so I just choose not to use it. So that is why I love using the EWG app instead. So they don't have quite as many products on there for you to search, which is kind of a downside to that app. However, one of my favorite things to use EWG for is they just have tons of product recommendations. So you can search literally any kind of personal care product and it will give you tons of recommendations of products that are like rated 0 or 1, and I mean really all ratings, but you can find tons of products on there that are non-toxic just by going through like the different tabs and looking at the different types of products. Another thing I really like about EWG is when you click on a certain product, you can actually click through like the different ingredients and it will give you like some studies that are like listed out on like their safety and things like that. So it gives you like a lot more information. You can really dig deep and do like more of your own research if you're kind of like maybe not super trusting of a certain rating and you want to just figure out a little bit more why it's rated high or why it's rated low or anything like that. And I really like that you can also search single ingredients. So for example, if you see like sodium lauryl sulfate on shampoo or in soap or laundry detergent or anything like that, which is like one of the main ingredients you definitely want to avoid, you can just search that on EWG. It will tell you about the ingredient, why it's toxic, and list out a bunch of studies as well. Okay, another resource I want to share with you guys. This one is awesome. It is actually you can follow their Instagram account. It's Made Safe HQ. So Made Safe, well, their account in general is great because they have a lot of like education as far as what ingredients to look for and avoid, just like all about different like non-toxic products, and they've got a lot of good information on there. But Made Safe itself is actually like different companies can actually get the Made Safe label on their products. So Made Safe will look at different products basically and figure out whether or not it's something that that meets their criteria, and therefore like they would not necessarily endorse, that's not the right word, but they'll put their label on there if it is like a totally clean, non-toxic product. So this is another really good tool slash resource for you guys to use when you're kind of going through this transition. If you're trying to figure out if a product is really trustworthy, first and foremost, always look if there's fragrance in it. If there's fragrance in it, I always toss it personally. But then also just seeing that Made Safe label on certain products is just an easy way for you to know that like, okay, this is non-toxic, I can trust this, and this is, you know, a safe product for me to use. Okay, so once you've started to go through all your products and you're figuring out ones you want to start to get rid of, it's probably going to be a lot of them. That is like kind of step number 1. And then step number 2 is finding replacements. So like I said, the EWG website and then also that app is really helpful for giving lots of product suggestions for all different kinds of stuff. So that can really be helpful. And then also there's like lots of different websites nowadays that have different, that basically are like online stores that carry a lot of non-toxic products. One of my favorite ones is Full Lane. They have tons of non-toxic products on there, all different kinds of personal care stuff. And I'm sure there's a ton of them out there. You guys, again, feel free to comment down below some of your favorite websites or resources or anything you like to use just to kind of help everybody out, because again, I'm not an expert. I don't know everything out there. I haven't seen everything out there. And then also something that I really like to do, and especially when I was going through this whole like transition, one of my favorite ways to get ideas for products and stuff like that was just following different like clean bloggers on Instagram. So whether it was for beauty or most of it was like beauty and personal care, but there's like all different kinds of people on there. So again, if you have any suggestions, leave them down below. Some of my personal favorites are Girl Gone Green, The Organic Girl. Choosy Chick is also a really good account. So those give tons and tons of product recommendations, plus Made Safe. So those are just kind of ways that I found. I started to just learn about different brands that I could trust and that were clean. And then also you get to kind of see people using the products and reviewing the products. So that is just another really great resource to take advantage of. So once you go through and you kind of look at all of these different outlets, you're following people on Instagram that are talking about clean products, you're looking on Folane or any other websites like that, that really kind of helps you to familiarize yourself with good brands out there. Like I said, there are so many brands out there that are committed to being non-toxic and clean and not use any fragrance or any scary chemicals. So that is kind of like what you want to do. You want to find those brands that you know you can trust, you like their mission, you know they're going to be making clean, non-toxic products that are going to be safe for you and for your family. So that is like the major step number 2. Find those brands that you can trust and start trying out different products. Start seeing what you really like, what works for you, what products you now swear by, and like you just kind of go through this whole process of trying to find alternatives for all of the products that you used to use, but now just ones that are much safer. And then that is kind of your last step. So it's kind of going through and making a plan of how you're going to ditch and switch everything. So like I said, when I first started learning about all this, first I was really defensive, and then when I was like, okay, this is a real thing, this is for my health, I need to swallow my pride and I need to switch out my products. The first thing I wanted to do was just throw everything out. Like I was so upset. The first thing I remember looking at on Think Dirty was my Dove body wash, and I was like, this is hypoallergenic, it's dermatologist tested, it's gentle, like this can't be that bad, right? And it was literally a 10 out of 10 for toxicity because it's filled with sodium lauryl sulfate and all kinds of other gross ingredients, and of course tons of fragrance. So I just remember being like, oh my god, I can't trust everything that I thought was wrong. So now I just want to throw everything out because I feel like I'm just like bathing literally in toxins every single day. I am putting them all over my body. I am breathing them in when I'm cleaning. I am putting them on my face with makeup. I'm spraying them all over my hair. And it was just like really, really overwhelming. And I just wanted to throw everything out, but let's be real, that's not realistic, and that's okay. Switching out your products one at a time over time is a million times better than never switching them out at all and continuing to use those kind of things and exposing yourself to that on a daily basis for the rest of your life. So take it one step at a time. One of the best things to do is just kind of come up with a plan, like, okay, next month or this month I am going to focus on switching out my laundry stuff, which by the way is probably the most toxic of stuff in your house. Dryer sheets, the worst. They are just bathing your clothes in fragrance, which we now know is bad, and then the fragrancy clothes sit on your skin, and then all of that fragrance and chemicals, not the fragrance, but the chemicals that make up the fragrance seeps into your skin. So please, please, please just go ahead and toss out your dryer sheets like right now. You can go pause the video, you can go throw them out and then come back because they're really bad. I use wool dryer balls instead. I use essential oils to make my laundry smell nice. Again, but that's just optional. That's a bonus. Like you don't really need that to have clean clothes. So just throw the dryer sheets out, okay? But so anyway, say that first month, okay, I'm switching out laundry. I'm gonna get a clean, non-toxic laundry soap. And remember, be careful with marketing. They're sneaky. You might see like green, natural, blah, blah, blah. I used to use the Mrs. Meyer's one. I thought I was doing a great service for myself and my family by not using toxins, but again, fragrance, there's still fragrance in there. Switch out your laundry, ditch those laundry sheets, maybe get wool dryer balls if you care that much, and then there you go, you switch out your laundry, check. And then next month it's like, okay, I'm gonna start to work on my skincare. This month I'm gonna switch out my face wash and I'm gonna switch out my moisturizers, nighttime and daytime, and then that can be it, okay? And then the next month, okay, I'm gonna switch out my like oral care. I'm gonna change my mouthwash. I'm gonna change my toothpaste. I'm gonna change my floss, that kind of stuff. It really can be gradual. It doesn't have to be this big crazy thing where you do it all at once and it's really costly and it's just dramatic. It doesn't have to be that way. Set up a plan, figure out every single month, okay, what's something I'm gonna switch out this month, and And it can be as simple as that. Or the other kind of way that you can look at this is as things run out. So when your shampoo runs out and your, shaving cream runs out and your laundry soap runs out, as things run out and you would have to replace them anyway, you would be running to Target. Instead of running to Target, hop online, find, a safe alternative and order it. Or maybe you can find it in a store depending on what you're buying. So that is another way to kind of go about it. Basically, you're not spending a bunch of money up front. You are just replacing things as you would have been replacing them and spending money on them anyway. Okay guys, so that is pretty much everything that I did, the steps that I followed. So again, first I just started looking, taking a deep dive and looking at what was in my products by looking at like different ratings of them on like the EWG website or app. And then after I did that, I tried to familiarize myself with different companies and brands, and then even like, influencers that talk about non-toxic stuff, so that I could learn about all the different brands out there, what was available to me as far as purchasing non-toxic products. And then lastly, I slowly started switching everything out. Every month I would place an order. You guys know I love Young Living. That's where I get a lot of my non-toxic products from. Not everything, but a ton, because I am a member with them. So I would just place an order every month on either Young Living's website, or like Hint Beauty is another one of my favorites, Folane, those kinds of things. And I would just slowly start to switch things over, on kind of like a monthly basis. And that made it really doable. It made it like more broken down and less overwhelming. But then also financially, it made it so much more feasible because I wasn't just tossing everything and replacing it all at once. I was just doing it gradually over time. So that is everything that I did. I hope that you guys find this video helpful. I hope that you found those resources helpful. Again, there might be tons more out there. Those are just what I used. And if you know of anything that you use and that was really helpful, I would love for you guys to leave it down below. Again, so we can all kind of just collaborate and help each other through this process, because it can definitely be overwhelming, and the more information you have at your fingertips, the more that you can learn. But that is it for this video, guys. Again, I hope you found it helpful. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Instagram so we can hang out on there. But yeah, that's it for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.